Hi everyone, Dr. Lori Beth here. Today I'm going to talk to you about security. When you feel secure in a relationship, you know you can say anything to your partner and your relationship will last through thick and thin. When a relationship is secure, you feel you can be seen however you are and you know that your relationship is strong enough for the long haul. A secure relationship means that you can bring anything to your partner. You can laugh, you can cry, express your anger in front of them, talk about your failures, your successes, the things you hope for the future, and know that they will be able to hear you. When a relationship is secure, we're interested in everything to do with our partners. We're interested in their thoughts, their feelings, the things that they hope for the future, their desires, their worries, all of their inner life, in addition to all the things that they have got going on day to day. And they're interested in ours. I can hear you laughing at the moment. The last thing you want at the end of a day, where you've been working all day or taking care of the baby or both, is to hear everything about your partner's inner life. I'd like you to humor me for a second. Close your eyes and think back to the beginning of your relationship. Remember when everything was new. Everything about your partner was exciting. Everything was interesting. You wanted to know all about them. You wanted to know about their life before you. You wanted to know about growing up in their family. You wanted to know about the traumas that they'd had and how had they weathered them. You wanted to know about their failures, their successes, the hopes they had for the future, their desires, their dreams. Remember that part of the relationship where you felt so safe and so secure that you could share anything with that partner. You could talk about your hopes and dreams, your fears, your failures, and even that secret fantasy that you'd never shared with another living soul. Now, open your eyes. How do you feel? Do you feel some of that feeling you had at the beginning of the relationship and remember how that felt? Do you feel a little excited? Or do you feel regret, perhaps because the present isn't like the past? If you can recapture those feelings from the beginning of the relationship, that excitement, just from focused remembering, you'll be able to recapture it in your relationship. And if you feel a bit of regret, that's good because it highlights the fact that you're still interested in this relationship, and so you'll be able to rekindle those feelings as well. Perhaps you're interested in your partner's day-to-day life. You still have an interest in her inner world and in what's going on and her hopes and fears. Maybe not those deep, long-ranging hopes and fears, but certainly in planning next year's holiday and talking about the impending house move. If you're not interested, perhaps you'd think about why. Is it because you're tired? You're just full to the brim of information and you're not sure that you can really take on anymore? Does it have to do with the way you predict your partner will react, or things you remember from past relationships? Or perhaps it's just the current state of your relationship. Our willingness to share with our partners depends on our confidence relating to their reactions as well as ours. And the more we're able to share with our partners, the more the security in our relationship will deepen. Abraham Maslow was a psychologist who created a hierarchy of needs. This was his understanding of the motivational principles that drive all of us, regardless of whether there was a reward involved or any sort of unconscious desire. He considers these to be universal motivating principles. He started developing the model in 1943, and in 1970 he expanded it to the final model, which had 8 levels, and it was depicted in the form of a pyramid. On the bottom layer of the pyramid were your basic needs. These are your physiological needs, and he included things like water, air, shelter, warmth, and sex. The next layer up were your security needs. He included things like protection from the elements, law, order in your environment, and any kind of thing that you needed for safety, for physical safety. And the third layer of the pyramid, which is the one that we're most interested in at the moment, were the belongingness and love needs. And these were in intimacy in a romantic relationship, affection, caring, and love, and also your friendships, your family relationships, and those with your workmates. From there, he went on to talk about cognitive needs, aesthetic needs, self-actualization, and transcendence. So what you were trying to get to was self-actualization, which is when a person is at their peak level. They are having peak experiences, they're seeking personal growth, and they are the best person they can be. And then Maslow believed that once you got to that level, you would want to help others and therefore reach transcendence. So if you are feeling insecure in your relationship and your love and belongingness needs aren't being met, that will shake your security across the board. When we're feeling insecure in our relationship, when the relationship feels rocky, we can find it almost impossible to talk about the hard subjects because we fear that we're going to be rejected by our partners, or you might feel you'll be abandoned. The less secure you are in the relationship, the less connected you're going to feel. And as you feel less connected, you'll begin to take your energy out of the relationship. So the less invested you're going to be in your relationship. The less invested you are in the relationship, the less connected you're going to be. You will begin to disconnect. John Gottman is a relationship researcher and therapist who's been working on relationships for the last 35 years. And he talks about the fact that at various points in your relationship, partners will make a bid for attention, affection, humor, and support. And at those times, either you will turn towards your partner or turn away from your partner. Those who turn towards each other then have the basis for a good romantic relationship, a great sex life, and an enduring intimate connection. The bottom line is, if you don't feel secure in the relationship will come to an end. But we can fix this. What you need to start is a relationship reminder. Relationship reminder helps you to set aside the time and protect it. What makes us feel more invested and more secure in our relationships is having time together. What do I mean by protecting the time? We make time for all sorts of things in our lives. We make time for our health appointments. We make time for work, time for family. We even make time for social engagements outside of our relationships. When you protect time, if you put the event in your diary, it exists. Can you imagine? There's a meeting at 10, it's 9 in the morning. You call your boss up and you say, "I'm sorry, I can't make the 10 o'clock meeting, something's come up." How long do you think you'd have a job if you did something like that? Or you have a big meeting with a new client and you're trying to talk them in to buying from your company, and a week before the meeting, you cancel. Something else came up. How long do you think you'd have a business? If you do that in your relationship won't last long either. So, in order to create a relationship reminder, you can do it electronically by creating a new calendar for the relationship. Lots of people use Google, and so this is a good one to use. If you're going to use Google, go in and create a new category just for your relationship. Try to use a color that you haven't used before so that it's easily standoutable and that you can both see it at a glance. Give it an interesting name like Adventurous Adults or Intimate Explorers, something that reminds you of what you're doing. Or if you are concerned that you're sharing this category with workmates as well, then perhaps just use your own names. So call it Barbie and Ken. Once you've done that, add some time, a block of time into the calendar, and then please make sure that your calendars sync. I don't know about you, but I've had the experience numerous times where I've thought things were synced up and in fact they didn't. And you wouldn't want to miss a protected space of time just because your calendars didn't sync. Once you've got it in the calendar, set some alarms. You might choose to use music as an alarm. You could choose to use something specific to the relationship. One couple I worked with, they made an alarm that was laughter. Another couple I worked with set an alarm that was their favorite sexy dance tune. And a third couple actually recorded a very intimate alarm where they used personal endearments. Although if you're going to do that, I'd be careful about who else could hear it. I don't think I'd feel terribly comfortable doing that. However, you've got all sorts of choices here. Perhaps you don't feel like using electronic means. Go ahead and go old school then. Get yourself a paper calendar. Buy one that has pictures that you like, or create one with imagery from your own relationship. But that gives you a nice, hard reminder of the experiences that you've had and the fun that you've been having together. You can look back on that and really relive all those memories. Or perhaps you want to get a whiteboard so that you can easily take things out and replan if situations change. Get creative, use different colors, make sure that it's in a place where you could easily find it, give it a place of honor. One couple I worked with hung it on their bedroom wall. Another couple I worked with had it just by the front door so that as they left the house in the morning, they would be sure to be reminded of whatever it was that they were planning to do that day. You can combine old school and new school, and you can give yourself reminders and alarms on your phone. So you can then use your partner's ringtone or perhaps create a new alarm just for your partner. Whatever you do, just make sure that what you're doing is protecting that time. So once we've created a space for the time and protected the time, what are we going to put in it? What's important is that we have focused quality time together. And I know that in modern life, this can feel almost impossible. Multitasking is expected, and most of us multitask. People can expect you to respond to an email within seconds or minutes of receiving it. They expect you to be available 24/7. If you're not available 24/7, the pressure is that you will miss opportunities. But if you are available 24/7, you may lose your relationship. It's really hard to clear that time, but it's really important to try to do so. So sit down, and if you can, clear 30 minutes and have a conversation about what you might like to do. You could make a game out of this and take 5 minutes and write down everything you can think of that might be fun to do together. Don't censor, don't worry if it sounds silly, don't worry how it looks, just write it down. And then rate everything from 0, no interest, to 5, very interested. Throw out everything below a 4 and take those items and talk about the 4s and the 5s to make sure things are practical. Do you even want to do this, and what can you agree on? And then once you've got the final list, rank that in order of interest to do. Now, once you've done that, I'd like to talk about what you could put in there that might get you out of the relationship rut. You know, a lot of us, for date night, it's become really popular to just go to dinner, and people can often find it very difficult to think about other things to plan. What I'm going to invite you to do is actually try and plan something unusual, something you normally wouldn't do. So perhaps you might want to learn a skill together. Cooking classes are good, or maybe learn a new dance or a sport, or take up a game together. Anything that gives you that focused time together. If you're not interested in learning a skill, perhaps you want to visit a place that you've never been before. If the autumn leaves are out and it's beautiful and you don't usually make time to go out into the woods, maybe take a picnic and go out to the woods. Or perhaps you want to visit an offbeat museum, or maybe go to a tourist attraction in your local area that everybody asks you about, but you never made time to go to before. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're doing it together and you're enjoying that nice focused time. Remember, the keys to security in a relationship are making time for each other, making sure that you're giving your partner your full focus, and making sure that you're having exciting experiences together. Tomorrow, I'm going to come back and talk about something that is absolutely vital to keeping your relationship going strong. I hope you'll join me then. Bye.